Hey, hello, how's it going? My name is Chace from Hammerano Culture Unlimited, and in today's video I'll be looking back at West Ham's victory over Everton. We'll also look at how this victory, how this win affects the end of season run-in, and lastly I'll be looking towards West Ham's Europa League quarter-final against Olympique Lyonnais. All this and more in today's episode of Hammerano Culture Unlimited. To quote Detective Grimm from the Thin Blue Line, "No more fanning about." Now that's a very niche reference, and if you know, you know. Thankfully and finally we just had the final international break for the season, and right now it's full speed to the finish line. The end of season run-in has officially started. So without further ado, let's get going. West Ham beat Everton 2-1 on Sunday, and these are my thoughts coming out of the fixture. Cresswell's goal to make it 1-0. Wow. A direct free kick over the wall and in the top right hand corner of the goal. Top bins, as the kids would say. This was chef's kiss, absolutely glorious. And it's quite a funny one because just before we scored the free kick, I sent a text message to the Cape Town Hammers WhatsApp group and I said, guys, I don't know about you, but it's pretty underwhelming. Murphy's Law, I push send, 3 seconds later, it's in the back of the net. But apart from Cresswell's individual brilliance and that glorious free kick, overall, West Ham were struggling to get into gear, and overall we just looked pretty flat. Now, Everton managed to get the equaliser early in the second half, but thankfully 6 minutes later, Jarrod Bowen made it 2-1 to the Hammers. And speaking of Jarrod Bowen, it was amazing to see him get the goal and not only score, but I didn't even think he would be in the starting lineup. We all know he was injured, he missed a few games, and on social media in the week I saw he was training with the lads. So I wasn't expecting to start, let alone score, so wow, that was amazing, and I'm delighted for Bowen, and more of that please. And back to the Murphy's Law, this very week, knowing Bowen was injured, I took Jarrod Bowen out the team. I should have done it 3 weeks ago, but I've been so slack and so preoccupied with everything else in life that I kind of forgot about it. But now the running, I thought, let's try and get some credibility in my fantasy league team because my team's doing very poor this season. So at a last stretch effort, or a last ditch effort, or just a desperation, I'm trying to take things serious again on the fantasy league. And yeah, so I took Bowen out, and what does he do in real life? He gets back into the starting lineup and he scores. So shows you how much I know. So how does this result affect the end of season run-in? Well, for Everton, things are getting real messy now. Yes, they got a few games in hand, but when you're at the wrong end of the table, those games in hand aren't as comforting as they should be. Back to the Hammers, West Ham are now tied on points, 51 points, with Manchester United. Thank goodness Man United drew with Leicester. Now this means West Ham are just marginally above Man United on goal difference. Speaking of goal difference, Spurs spanking Newcastle 5-1. That was disastrous for all the clubs chasing that 4th spot finish. And here's the thing, and it's no secret, everyone knows this. Goals are as good as points and could actually be the difference between the Champions League qualification and Europa League qualification. And obviously at the other end of the table, it could be the difference between safety and relegation. And speaking of the Champions League places, 4th spot is Arsenal's to lose. I don't know how they managed it, but they still have 3 games in hand. Every week it seems like they got more, still got those 3 games in hand. I mean, the only hope West Ham and the other teams around us have is that the fixture congestion finally gets to Arsenal and they start dropping points. Please, Arsenal, drop some points. Realistically speaking, I don't see West Ham finishing lower than 8th. Obviously, I'd love 4th spot. I mean, that would be the ultimate cherry on the top. But mathematically speaking, it's April, and 4th is still a possibility. Highly unlikely. But mathematically speaking, 4th is still a possibility. But in all seriousness, I'll settle for a 6th or a 7th spot finish. Historically speaking, if you look back at their record books, West Ham have never had consecutive 6th spot finishes. So I would love that. And cementing another season of European football will be massive for the Hammers. And this now takes us to Thursday's Europa League quarter-final against Olympique Lyonnais. Do you know what? I'll be real with you. I am still over the moon. I'm still buzzing. I'm still starstruck that West Ham managed to beat Seville and knock them out in the previous round. However, it's time to look forward and to press on. But yes, having that memory in the rearview mirror, as a West Ham fan, I'm still buzzing about that. Now, unlike the previous round against Seville, West Ham are now playing the opening fixture of the first leg at home. Personally speaking, I would have preferred us playing the first fixture away in France, and then coming back home knowing what we have to do with our own crowd under the lights at the London Stadium. But as the nature boy Ric Flair said, to be the man, you gotta beat the man. If you look at the table, Lyon are currently 9th in the domestic league, Ligue 1. And if you look at their recent form, it's been quite a mixed bag with a couple of wins, couple of draws, couple of losses. So you're not quite sure what you're going to get. Having said that, it's knockout football, and as we all know, it's how you play on the day. If I wrote the script, I'd have West Ham win the first leg at London Stadium. I'd have us win 4-0. Then we can rock up in France, even lose. Take it easy, cruise. I'm only kidding. If I wrote the script, I'd have us smash them home and away and progress to the next round. And this is where it gets interesting, or should I say this is where it gets more interesting. Because if West Ham do progress, if we do knock Lyon out and progress to the semi-finals, the Hammers will face the winner of either Barcelona or Frankfurt. Now, who would have thunk that just over 2 years ago, when David Moyes was appointed, when he returned to West Ham, when we were struggling to stay in the Premier League, 2.5 years later, a potential semi-final against Barcelona or Frankfurt? I mean, I don't want to count my eggs before they're chicken, but imagine West Ham United walking out at the Camp Nou. That is wow. Imagine Mark Noble. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself now, obviously, but imagine Mark Noble scoring a winning penalty at the Camp Nou. I've got to come back to earth. I am now in dreamland. Regardless of the outcome, it's an amazing time to be a West Ham fan. And if you take a step back and if you just look at the bigger picture, things are on the up and things are looking very promising for the Hammers. And it looks like we are desperately out of time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. It does help the channel out. And if you haven't yet, why not subscribe to Hammerano Culture Unlimited? My name is Chace, and until next time, come on, you irons.